Hello everybody, and welcome to another Vintage Cube Draft where we have a very good pack to start. Fourth Air Lingus is a card that I take over almost any spell. This card is just broken. There's also Sneak Attack and Pyromancer, so a lot of good red stuff. Watery Grave is first pickable, maybe Probe, but I'm taking Urza Saga. This card is just busted, gone up and up and up in my pick order. It's at its best if you have Black Lotus or something broken to get with it, but even if you're just getting like Relic of Progenitus, this just creates so much value. And it goes into pretty much any deck. Okay. Not the best second pack. There's no good artifacts to find with this. Yeah, nothing that really works with the Saga, so I'm not really going to consider this too much in making this pick. Lelio is very strong. That's an option. There's also Cathar Commando, which I like a lot, and Teferi. Teferi is very strong, but it's also 5 mana and not the best with Saga. I just passed all the red stuff, so I think I'm not going to take Lelio for that reason. If we hadn't passed all these good red cards, I might take this, but I think I should just take Cathar Commando. I think white decks are one of the best places for Saga. There's tons of good, cheap artifacts that make Saga good, like it's good with Thraben Inspector, that sort of thing. Yeah, there's a lot of different cards that would be reasonable to take here, but I'm going to take the Cathar Commando. Ooh, there's Little Teferi. Oh, also Bowmasters. Plateau too, but I think I'm going to take Bowmasters. It's just incredibly strong. And it would be sweet if we could wheel Lurrus and go into that direction. There's Plateau if we had taken Fourth Air Lingus. Could have taken Teferi into Teferi, which would be sweet, but yeah, I'll take Bowmasters. Really good pickup. Okay, now we see Chrome Mox, Inquisition, Thraben Inspector. Might just take Chrome Mox here. Yeah, these cards are both good, but not essential, and having some ways to power these things out, and just like good artifacts for Urza Saga is great. This lets you play turn 1 Saga. Like turn 1 Saga, Chrome Mox, Orcish Bowmasters, turn 2 start making constructs is a really strong sequence. Okay, solid. There's Wandering Emperor, but I'm just going to take Scrubland. Set up for a little Orzhov action. Okay, Thalia, Lotus Petal, Hero of Bladehold, or Concealed Courtyard. I think I'm actually going to take the Courtyard here. As good as Thalia is, yeah, just having like really good mana is important, especially for a low curve deck like this. You really want to have it's even more important to have good fixing. If we end up with a 20 creature deck, Thalia would be amazing, and I'll be sad I didn't have it, but more likely, I feel like very often you have 13 creatures, and you're like, okay, Thalia's good, but I do have a couple 4-drops that become a lot worse with it, and it ends up being kind of medium. Which is weird, because it used to be like probably the best white card in the format, and the only way you could compete against the blue decks was to go turn 1 Landmarks Thalia. But Thalia's gotten worse. There's more creatures than there used to be. Still a good card, but I think I like taking the Concealed Courtyard there. Big moment if we wheeled Lurrus. That would be a huge pickup. Interesting pick here. Parallax Wave is great. Batterskull is great if we get Stoneforge. There's also Glimmerlens though, which I actually think I might take. Some people are going to get mad at me for passing Parallax Wave. Fair enough. This card's good. But this is good if we get Lurrus, which I'm really hoping to wheel. And it also just keeps our curve down and is an artifact for Saga. Just kind of does a lot of stuff that we want to be doing. Yeah, close pick. It's possible I'm an idiot for passing Parallax Wave here, but I'm holding on to the hope of wheeling Lurrus. I think Lurrus was in the either first or second pack, so we got one more fresh pack before we get there. The best thing we could realistically hope to get would probably be a cheap spot removal spell, like a Fatal Push or an Oust. I don't think it would be reasonable to find Swords to Plowshares this late. The best thing we could unreasonably get would be 8th pick Mox Jet. I wonder what the latest a Mox has ever gone is. I've seen them 3rd. I bet they've gone 4th. I don't know if they've ever gotten to 5th. Alright, great late pickup. Mother of Runes. Seasoned Hellblade is good too, but yeah, Mother of Runes is maybe the best 1-drop, and oh baby, there's the Lurrus. So Dark Confidence there too, that would be great, but I'm in, we're playing a Lurrus deck. This obviously puts a pretty big restriction on what we can do. There's a lot of good cards we can't play, like Parallax Wave, but we have some really good stuff with it already, and with the knowledge that we have this, we can adjust our pick order and probably find enough playables. Now I'll take Concealing Curtains over Mutavault. If we were not playing Lurrus, I might take the Mutavault because it would be so guaranteed that we have a million playables. But in this deck, like a genuinely good one drop is a very high pickup. Okay. I don't think it makes sense to splash green. It's more likely that we want to play Mardu, in which case Embereth Shieldbreaker would be good, so I'll take that. And now Robber of the Rich. Okay, now I actually kind of want to play Mardu. Getting back-to-back very good red cards. We did pass Plateau and 4th Air Lingus, but it's possible that like red-black is open so we can get Badlands and stuff like that. Okay, Fugitive Codebreaker is an option. I think I would rather take Jetmir's Garden here. Oh, nice. Thalia. Good late pickup. We'll see. Probably not playing these red cards unless we get better fixing, and I don't really want to play too many tapped lands, but could get there, especially if we see like Ragavan or Lightning Bolt, just like really premium red cards that make us want to splash. Alright, what are we hoping for here? Just Mox. I mean, yeah, Mox. Like with all these powerful 2-drops, just playing them on turn 1 is exactly what we want to be doing. Gurmag Angler, last pick, okay. Not great. No Mox. Not even any really good cards for us. Like, Porcelain Legionnaire is not a card we can play. Could just take Dogged Detective. It's not that exciting of a card, but it is probably the correct pick here, unfortunately. It could come around. We didn't see that many super late black things, but it's not that high of a pickup for most decks. So we could take, like, Relic and then try to wheel Dogged Detective. Relic is kind of awkward with Lurrus, but it's also just a good card that's a graveyard hate and even a cheap thing for Saga. Yeah, I think I will take this and try to wheel the Detective. Not a good first pick though. Like of all the 0/1 mana Urza Saga targets, this was one of the lower priority ones. Okay, what do we want here out of our second pick? Probably just Silent Clearing. Prismatic Ending is okay. Bitter Blossom is not that good. Gix would be good if we could play it, but I don't want to play any 3-drops in this deck. It's possible we're supposed to take Prismatic Ending if we're worried about not getting enough playables, but I think it's pretty safe to just take the land here. I guess I'll leave my maybes over here in a pile. But yeah, having passed a bunch of good red-white stuff, less likely that we'll get the fixing we really want for this. Okay, another pack that has not that many good, well, there's a few. We could take Staff of the Storyteller. We could take Bauble. Bauble is really good with Lurrus. I think I will take the Bauble, actually. Staff of the Storyteller is good with Orcish Bowmasters and Glimmerlens, so it actually would be a card I would like to play. We also might play Lingering Souls, but Bauble is so good with Lurrus. It just, like, turns this into an immediate card draw engine, and this is another good artifact for Saga. Yeah, we'll take this and really hope the Staff comes around. In general, I'm kind of indifferent between Loran and Staff. They're good in different decks, but both really strong. However, in this case, we can't play Loran and we can play Staff, so I do have a strong preference for the Staff coming around. We'll see if we get there. Okay, probably just taking, yeah, I don't think Misty Rainforest doesn't help us. Voldaren Epicure is not that good, so it's Dreams of Steel and Oil or Tenacious Underdog, both of which are pretty good. I think I'm going to take the Dreams of Steel and Oil. Underdog is, I guess, better with Lurrus, but having cheap interaction is so important, and this does exactly that. Also, Tenacious Underdog is more likely to wheel. I'm a bit alarmed by my lack of removal. That's something that I really want to address. Now we see Enlightened Tutor, which can find the Saga. That's kind of interesting. I think I would still rather take one of these lands, though, and I'm just going to take this and plan on not playing red. It will just make this deck so much more streamlined. Yeah, I'll take this. Hopefully Enlightened Tutor wheels. Okay, Revoker and Doughty Voidwalker are both really good. I think Voidwalker is better, especially when we can recur it with Lurrus. Would maybe play Deathrite Shaman if it comes around, but yeah, I'll definitely take Voidwalker. Great pickup. And now we could take Jite. There's also Unearth, actually. Wait, Unearth could be really good with Lurrus. This is good if we get Stoneforge Mystic, but I think I actually like taking the Unearth here. Jite is so good. Close pick. This is better against creatures. This is better against control. I guess I'm a little bit worried about creatures since we don't have much removal. Yeah, I'm going to take this, actually. It also is just a decent chance we might get the last pick on Earth, which would be awesome. We also might get Stoneforge. Like, seeing this go so late makes it more likely we can pick up a Stoneforge. And Stoneforge with 2 good artifacts. Like, you can't always play Stoneforge in Lurrus decks because that rules out a lot of the expensive ones. But if you can play Stoneforge here, it's just a really nice value engine. Our fixing is great for black-white. Just need to make sure we get enough good playables. Okay, there's Oust. I would love Ballista as well, maybe even Benevolent Bodyguard, but we need some removal, so I'll take the Oust pretty happily. This is what I was talking about with Thalia. It was a last pick, so it's not too bad if we can't play it, but we now have just as many non-creatures as creatures, so we may not be able to make Thalia work. Although with that being said, our curve is pretty low. Like, we can afford to play Bauble for 1 sometimes. It's like, it's at its worst with 4 drops that all of a sudden become 5 drops. And it's like, okay, now I can just never play my Elspeth Knight Errant. But if your card still costs like 2 or 3 mana, that's a lot more castable with Thalia. Okay, Dogged Detective Wield. There's also Urborg, but I don't think we need Urborg. So yeah, I'll take this pretty happily, honestly. That's a good pickup in this style of deck. Now we wield Prismatic Ending, another good removal spell. We have this Jetmir's Garden. I don't want to play it. I would play it untapped land just for Prismatic Ending, but I'm not really interested in playing a tapped land just to make this exile something that costs 3. Alright, this is coming together pretty well. Looking for more 1-drops, looking for Stoneforge, looking for a Mox. Real bummer to see Loran come around instead of Staff of the Storyteller. I don't think Fairy Mastermind is where we want to be. I'm honestly going to take Mutagenic Growth. It's pretty good against burn spells. Tenacious Underdog, good wheel. Really good wheel, actually. Okay, Enlightened Tutor is also a good wheel. It may or may not make the final cut, but it's at least a good card to have access to. Rafine would be kind of sweet, but we're not. We're pretty committed to Lurrus at this point. But we can Enlighten Tutor for Urza's Saga sometimes. We can also find like Jite or whatever else is good in that specific game. Okay, really bad pack here, unfortunately. We can't play Timeless Dragon. There's no good cheap cards in our colors. I think we're pretty much off of the Red Splash, so I don't care about Elegant Parlor. Yeah, really bad pack, unfortunately. I don't think we want Toxic Deluge. It's an option, actually. It would be a good sideboard card, but I think I'm just going to take Nurturing Peatland. Good way to mitigate Mana Flood, and also it plays with Prismatic Ending. But really bad first pick here. Was hoping to get a Mox, or at least like a good creature. Okay, now we see some much better options. There's Verdant Catacombs, Reprieve, and Pylon. I think I'm going to take the Pylon. Our fixing's good. I'm not too worried about that. And I do still want more removal. This is a really good removal spell that also fills the graveyard for Lurrus. There's Savai Triumph. We were playing red, but I was a little bit worried after pack 1 that red was going to be the only open color, but that no longer appears to be the case. So we can pretty safely take this. Unlikely that Reprieve comes around, but it would be great if it did. Ooh, there's the Ragavan. That's the kind of card that makes us want to be playing red, but I'm still just going to stay disciplined, keep a streamlined deck, and take Shieldred Edict. Okay, now we see Shadow Spear, Usher of the Fallen, and Agatha Soul Cauldron, but I think that's not quite as good. Let's take the Usher of the Fallen. Not a super exciting card, but it is just a solid playable 1-drop, and I want that for the curve. Okay, there's Palace Jailer, but we can't play that if we're playing Lurrus. We could take Retrofitter Foundry or Priest of Fellrights. I actually think the Priest looks pretty nice here in our Lurrus deck. But with that being said, we could also take the Retrofitter Foundry and then try to wheel Priest. There's Sacred Foundry too, but that's not quite as good. Yeah, I'll take the Retrofitter Foundry. I think it's not a bad card here. And now we could take... So here's another good black-white card that we're hoping to wheel. But I think I'm going to take Novice Inspector and try to wheel Tidehollow Sculler. I think black-white is wide open. And this is a good card. It makes an artifact. It just kind of does what we're trying to do. Okay, there's Lightning Greaves, but we're pretty much not on Stoneforge at this point. I think I would rather just take Selfless Spirit to protect Lurrus. Chromatic Star doesn't seem that good. Weathered Wayfarer actually does seem pretty good here. We have some nice value lands. There's also Savine's Reclamation. So it's Reclamation versus Wayfarer. Reclamation actually might be really good with Lurrus. Yeah, I actually think I'm going to take this. Kind of weird to take this pretty highly, but I think it's correct here. I'm going to cut Thalia from the main deck. We just have so many non-creatures. I might also cut Relic. It's a good card, but we don't need it as much. I'm going to cut Enlightened Tutor. Good for fighting Saga, but we're not like all in on Saga. I guess we could add some of these cards back, but I think this is my plan for the main deck. And then we can bring these in some matchups. Good that we ended up with more playables than we can do. That's not always what happens when you're playing Lurrus. And we ended up with a solid removal suite. We have, this is our first pack that's still bad. We have Oust, we have Shieldred Edict, we have Pylon, Prismatic Ending. That's not a ton actually, but it's some. I don't think Altar of Dementia is good. I guess I'll take this red land, but not plan on playing it, at least in the main deck. Maybe we should still be playing Thalia, but we have such a low creature count for a Thalia deck. It's a great sideboard card at the very least. Okay, I don't think I'm that interested in Beaumont Courier here without really being able to crack it. Could be a Guy's Cradle deck. I think I'll take the Cradle. Okay, Intrepid Adversary is a good one. I'll play that. And then we're hoping to wheel Priest of Fellrights and Tide Hollow Sculler. None of these are good. I'll take this in case we play a weird Brain Freeze deck. Okay, love to see a late Priest, and now we see the Sculler, hopefully. So we ended up with 4 1-mana creatures, plus a few other 1-mana plays. That's solid. So we could play 11 basics and run it like this. Do we want to play Silent Clearing and Scrub? I've had some troubles with playing multiple pain lands in the past. I think in a deck like this, it's okay, though. So hoping to play... we did not wheel the Tide Hollow Sculler. Is Stalactite Stalker good? I think it's okay. Probably worth playing. Okay, so we could run it like this. Could also try to get Thalia back in. We did add a few creatures last minute. Maybe we play Thalia and cut Retrofit or Foundry. It's good, but it's just kind of clunky. Like, it's good specifically with Saga, but we have... These things are sort of better Saga targets, especially Bauble when we have Lurrus. Like, getting Bauble is really nice. Relic is a good graveyard hate, but we already have Voidwalker. I think I'd rather just have a slightly higher creature count. And then in some matchups, we'll make a bunch of changes. Like, we can bring in this against graveyard decks. We can bring in Retrofit or Foundry against control. But I think this is a good plan. I like having Savine's Reclamation to recur the Lurrus. So, let's see. I think we're pretty even between the colors. A little bit heavier on white. Let's do this because of... We have 1 extra black land. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 white. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 black. Not amazing, but I think it's good enough. We'll have to mulligan some hands, but that's alright. Deck looks great. Little black-white Lurrus action. I think this is my first Lurrus deck of the format, but I really enjoy this sort of strategy. Cradle is another option. I think our fixing isn't quite good enough to justify that, though, so I will run it like this and see you in round 1. Alright, we are on the draw for round 1, unfortunately. Again, it's JEV_. Good-ish hand. I will keep it. Chrome Mox looks a bit awkward here. If we draw another creature, though, I will probably set up the turn 1 Glimmerlands. Although against... Well, okay. Not going to be Chrome Moxing against this, unfortunately. They probably take Shieldred's Edict. Well, I guess... I hope they take Shieldred... Okay, they take that. That means they don't have something big to put into play, probably. Just play Concealing Courtyard and pass. And then I guess I'll just play a 3-1 with Lifelink on turn 2. Ooh, Dark Ritual into Mind Twist me for 4. Oh, the 1 ring. Alright, that's very good. Mother of Runes right on time. Let's just play Adversary to bring the beats and be more mana efficient. I wish I had an Orcus Bowmasters to punish this. Yeah, really strong start. And a Stitcher's Supplier. And a Shadowy Backstreet, okay. Dogged Detective. Good draw. I mean, okay draw at least. I think I'm going to graveyard the Alice too. These both seem not that amazing. Definitely a matchup where I'll bring in the Relic. Hogak. Interesting. Alright, they can just put Hogak into play right now. We could maybe actually race this, though. With Mother of Runes giving protection. So we go like land. Protection from black. Hit for 3. They go to 12, and they're going to take another 3 from this. I'll grab Lurrus, which does mean paying 1 life. Don't love that, but it's fine. Then play Usher of the Fallen and pass. They go to 9. Oh, wait. Yeah, the Ayara will just wreck us here, because they can gain 8. Never seen this card in action before, but it is pretty good with Hogak. Zoom. Take out this. And then they got us here. Alright, so playing against mono black graveyard stuff. I actually think this should be a pretty good matchup, but if they go just turn 1 Thoughtseize into turn 2, 1 ring on the draw, we will die. Let's bring in these 2, or when they're on the play. Bring in these 2. I don't think GT is really where we need to be. Although, they do actually have some small creatures. I like exile-based removal. Shield with Edict actually seems pretty bad. They have just, like, small dudes that don't care about getting sacrificed. And then maybe Concealing Curtains is just a bit clunky. Or even Thalia. Yeah, maybe Thalia is not what we want to be doing. Yeah, I think I like this plan. We'll run it back. So we have multiple pieces of Graveyard Hate with Relic, 2 ways to search it up, and Voidwalker. Hopefully we can get one of those going. Oh man, another one of these hands that just like pretty clunky, doesn't do that much. I think we need to mulligan this. This hand seems much better. I'll keep and put back the Nurturing Peatland. Stalactite Stalker is not amazing here. We don't have a ton of ways to trigger it, but I still think we want to keep the 1-drop. Inquisition, don't care about that at all, actually. Our best draw would be one of our 2-drops that we can play, so either Dogged Detective or Tenacious Underdog would probably be the best. Take our removal spell. We draw Tenacious Underdog. Wow, ask and you shall receive. So we'll cast that, hit for 1, and then pass, and then we can start making Saga tokens next turn, and then on turn 4, we'll get Relic of Progenitus. Orcish Bowmasters would be annoying, but we don't really have any choice but to attack here. Okay, that's fine. I think I'll just sack the Stalker. This is something we can bring back from the graveyard later, but it just hits so much harder. I think I'd rather just get that damage in. We are, at the end of the day, an aggressive deck. Alright, so let's make a dude. Untap, make another dude. And we'll get Relic. Land. Start eating at their graveyard so they can't Hogak us too quickly. Then we'll attack for 6. And then next turn I'll probably just Savine's Reclamation back to Saga, actually. It's kind of a fun line. Let's attack first. I guess we could actually threaten lethal if we went for Glimmerlands. I don't think that's worth it, though, into all their open mana. They're so likely to have something. Yeah. Okay. So they take 5. This draw is pretty resilient to removal, though. Yeah, this sort of plan of just discard spells and removal spells is good in some situations, but not good against Saga. So we're able to sort of steamroll them in game 2. On the game 3, we are on the draw now. Do we want to play Shieldred Edict? Probably. It's not good against Suspicious Stowaway. It's not, yeah, but it's okay against a lot of the rest. Or it's not that good against their 1-drop dude, but it's good against most of the rest of the things they're doing. What do we not want? I do think we want the Graveyard Hate. I like the cheap creatures. I like the 2-drops as well. I don't think I want to cut a land even on the draw. I do want Chrome Mox on the draw. It feels like GT and Shieldred Edict have some, like, we don't really want to be playing both. Maybe we do just cut the GT. Yeah, I think I'll do that. It could be good, but it's just pretty clunky. Like, it's a lot of mana. We have to spend 4 mana just to get 2 counters, and the 2 counters don't, like, win the game. They're just pretty good. So, I think I will cut that without having Stoneforge. Okay, this hand's keepable. It's not, we don't have Graveyard Hate. It's just a bunch of dudes, basically. But if we can just curve out with a bunch of dudes, that's good unless they have one of their best draws. They presumably take our Usher of the Fallen here. And then we hope to top deck... Oh, they take our Priest of Fellrights. That's interesting. Okay, I'm just going to play Usher because it hits harder. Hopefully they don't have a Bowmasters. That's annoying. I think I will offer the trade still. It's not going to get better necessarily. That's a good exchange for them, though. They just get a ton of cards in the yard. They do get a Shieldred. Don't care too much about Shieldred, though. Let's just cast Tenacious Underdog. I think, well, yeah, I'm going to play the Tenacious Underdog. There's an argument to playing Dogged Detective, but this hits harder, and I'll save the card selection for when I know exactly what I want. I do have a removal spell, even if they go for something this turn. Okay, I think it is fine to just oust this. Slow them down a bit. Definitely graveyarding this. I think I'm graveyarding this too, honestly. I'd rather dig for Graveyard Hate of some kind. It's also just good to have a full graveyard when we have Lurrus. Gurmag Angler. That is a 5/5. Not too devastating, though. Chromox was quite a brick. So, the plan is just to double block here and hope they don't have a removal spell. Could also jump and then swing back for 5. That's kind of interesting. Okay, they play this guy and just pass. Voidwalker, interesting. Can't play it yet, though, so let's just put some stuff into play. Oh, whoops. I tapped my mana poorly. Sorry about that. Yeah, now we just pass. So we lost out on playing Usher of the Fallen from the graveyard. They go for Entomb, okay. Too bad we couldn't get the Voidwalker into play. And the Hogak, which they can't cast yet, but they're pretty close to being able to cast. Ooh, good draw. Let's fire this off. Exile this and Hogak. Then we'll cast Glimmer Lens. And we still don't have any attacks. But we have just a huge board presence. This can deal damage only to players, so they can hit us for 7. We want to make sure we don't just randomly die to this Ayara, but it seems like a good spot. They make a sacrifice a creature token, that's totally fine. If we can find a removal spell for the Ayara, I think it's basically over. They play Misery's Shadow. Okay, that's not bad against Lurrus. Okay. Still just going to set up for a bit. Just play the Voidwalker, taking another damage. And then I'll play Usher of the Fallen. Pass with no attacks, but soon we can start attacking. We can crack the Clue into turn 2. We could also equip Glimmerlens, but I think cracking the Clue is better. This costs 5 mana to flip, so they could go Dark Ritual and then flip it. They could sacrifice the Gurmag Angler, then flip this thing, and then sacrifice Gurmag Angler again and put us to 1. But then they're out of stuff on board, and we can start gaining life on the backswing. They should have sacrificed the Gurmag Angler earlier, so they get to bring back Shieldred, but that doesn't really do anything. In fact, it actually helps us, because we can just block with this and then get back another dude. Oh, so I should have cracked the Clue in response to this, but oh no, it's still fine. So we let them exile their Shieldred, then crack the Clue. Oh, with Misery Shadow, we don't get the thing back. That's still fine, though. Pile on. Interesting. A lot of different options here. We could kill one of their things and start attacking, or just keep playing it slow. I don't think I'm going to go for... I think I'm just going to attack them with Voidwalker. Just play it kind of slow here still. Let's go Saga. Cast this with Lurrus. Attack for 3. They don't have anything with Shadow. Yeah, this really doesn't do much. Now that they can't sacrifice stuff anymore. I guess I'll equip this to Usher of the Fallen, doesn't matter too much. And pass with Pile On Up. But every turn we're just pulling further and further ahead, and they're really far away from doing anything. So I don't think they can win here. They kill the Voidwalker instead of killing Lurrus. That does take out our thing for good. Unless we want to Misery Shadow their thing in response, which actually looks pretty good here. Yeah, secretly I think that's a good line. So this way we get to rebuy the Lurrus. I don't think either of these are good. Our life total is kind of low, but not too low. They can bring back Citrus Supplier, which actually, now we don't have our thing anymore, so they do actually get to fill their graveyard. That could be bad, but they don't put anything scary in the graveyard. They don't have any great attacks. I guess they could swing with everything. They don't, so I'll just block here. Okay, so I'm just going to bring back the Lurrus, or the Voidwalker with the Lurrus, and pass turn. Weird that we just, their creatures are totally breaking ours. We can never attack pretty much, but that doesn't really matter. Every turn we're just pulling further ahead. Eventually we'll be able to attack. We can start making big Saga tokens. We can find Relic. The fact that this is on this side, if this was still able to sacrifice their things, I would be so much more afraid. Oh. artifact or creature. That's interesting. I did not realize how that worked, but they do get to draw a card here. I think it's probably fine to crack this at this point. Let's grab the relic. Play Concealed Courtyard. Play Chrome Mox. Not pitching anything. Let's just beat down now. Yeah, it feels like that's got to be right. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. And then attack with everything, and they might just be dead on board. They must be. We have so many things. Alright, so we're able to take down the black deck. One game we won basically based on the relic. It was huge that we top decked the Dreams of Steel and Oil to take out their Hogak. I don't know if they would have been able to Hogak immediately, but they would have soon. So yeah, interesting first game for sure. Feels pretty good to win it though. I will see you in round 2. Alright, we are on the play for round 2 against Screamers. Interesting name. Good hand, very good hand actually. I'll keep this. We get to go turn 1 Saga here. Not a play you can do too often. Need to decide if I want to go turn 1 Dreams of Steel and Oil. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pitch the Dogged Detective and go Stalker plus Dreams of Steel and Oil. Oh wait, no, we don't have double black. Close then. I think I'm just going to play turn 1 Dogged Detective then. It is close. This is much more mana efficient, of course. Lets us also just get off to a more aggressive start. If they have like a Black Lotus draw, that's what really punishes us for this. Let's graveyard this. I'll keep the Shield's Edict though. Actually, that's kind of annoying. With Mishra's Bauble gone, now we actually don't have another thing to find with Saga since we're not playing Relic. So that is pretty bad actually, but we still can make 2 huge constructs. Hit for 2. Mystical Tutor. Hopefully they're getting like Ancestral Recall. Okay, yeah. I mean, weird to say hopefully they're getting Ancestral, but I would rather that than some sort of combo card. I think we can overpower this, especially with Lurrus to just be a late game card advantage engine. Alright, make a dude. They discard to hand size. Make a dude. Fail to find. That's the awkward part. Then we go land. I guess I'll swing first. Just conceal information. And then based on what we've seen, they might not even have targets for this. But with 7 cards, it feels like they've got to have something. Okay. I think Thieving Skydiver is actually way better here, funnily enough. Snapcaster Mage for Ancestral is a great play in general, and it is good here too. But first of all, they don't even have double blue yet. Second of all, oh wait, no, they do with Lorien Revealed. But yeah, they can go for Ancestral, and hopefully we can just kill them. While they're busy drawing cards, we're busy killing them. So they play Island, they oust one of my constructs, and then pass with Remand up. Good draw. Do we want to grab Lurrus or hold up Cathar Commando? I think it's actually better to just hold up Cathar Commando, funnily enough. Like, they're 8. We can kill them pretty quickly. Okay, I'm going to let this... So we could Cathar Commando kill the Saga in response. I don't think we need to do that, though. can go Snap, Oust on either of these, and I'll just let that happen, then go end of turn Commando plus Shieldred Edict, kill the Snap. And then we can hit them for 5, they go to 3. We could kill the Saga if we care about it, which we probably do. And then we can just set up to get Lurrus going. It's going to be close. They will win the long game. Oh, they don't make a play. That's weird. Alright, I'll play Cathar Commando. If they want to remand it, we can recast it. Okay, that's kind of annoying because not only does it counter our thing, it also exiles it. Still fine though. Untap, draw land, draw play, go to combat. If they want to go Snapcaster Mage just to block, that's fine. If they want to take 4, that's also fine. Then I'll grab Lurrus. Pass back. And if they're tying up their mana in Saga, that's pretty slow. So they might go for the Snap Oust line here, which would mean they can't make a Saga token. But they're at 4. They need to interact with the board somehow. Snapcaster Mage, and then Oust, presumably. Ancestral Recall is obviously much stronger than Oust, but in this situation, their life total is in great jeopardy. So this happens. Yep, we lose our dude. That's fine. End of turn, we'll make them sacrifice a non-token creature. And if they remand it, okay, they don't go for the remand. We draw Selfless Spirit. Let's swing for 2. And now it's a funny situation where I might actually not even play the Lurrus. Because if letting them remand does help them. I'm going to start with Selfless Spirit. And if they remand this, then we can play Lurrus. And if they let it resolve, I'll just pass and not let them draw their card. Interesting spot for sure. Okay, they do go for it, which makes sense, but now we get to get Lurrus into play, which is much better than getting Selfless Spirit into play. Let's see what they're drawing. Basic Plains, okay. Pass back, they're at 2, and we have 2 creatures in play. They can make a construct here. We also don't have any burn, so 2 is a little more stable than I wish it was. But they make a dude, they have Sensei's Divining Top, so that's not even that good of a Saga target. Saga has not been too good for them. Our Saga was much better. We're ready to just bring back Bauble again. Vendilion click, okay. So they need to take Intrepid Adversary. Actually, maybe they don't. Yeah, maybe it's actually better to take Selfless Spirit, weirdly. If we had an untapped land, they would want to take the Intrepid Adversary. Okay, they do just go for the Adversary, sure. So let's play Selfless Spirit and then attack with both. They're forced to chump with both. So I'll sacrifice this to save both of my creatures. Selfless Spirit, very good here. And now I think it is better to play Selfless Spirit. And I'll play Courtyard tapped and pass. So this insulates us against the Board Sweeper. They could have the Board Sweeper that exiles our creatures, which would be pretty bad, frankly. We don't have a clean way to push more damage through, but they don't even have that many more cards than us at this point. It would kind of just be a top deck battle, but where they're at 2, and any creature we ever draw is a lethal attacker. And if they don't have the exile-based Board Sweeper immediately, they lose. If they sweep the board, we have this. I guess they could, like, chain cryptic commands and 1-rings and stuff. I'm just going to play Bauble. While I can. Go to combat. Now they play Cryptic to tap draw. What you got? Eagles of the North on top. Okay. I will just play this. I don't think it's overextending here. I guess technically we should have also cracked this first. Okay. So pass. We get to draw off the bobble, and then they're really up against it here with us having this to protect our creatures from a sweeper, this to tax their spells. Still, their best bet is just to find that one, still don't remember the name of it, but like 5 mana, the incubate board sweeper that exiles all our creatures. Post board, we can bring in Retrofit or Foundry. I don't think we want Relic or Enlightened Tutor. But yeah, probably just bringing in Retrofit or Foundry. Potentially over one of our removal spells. They're just like hard control. I don't see any reason for too many sweepers here, or too many removal spells. They do have Urza's Saga. Not too worried about that. Their Thieving Skydiver is annoying. We have a lot of equipment. So let's cut this because it's better against us than for us. And then I think we just want to run it back. Prismatic Ending's not amazing. Oust is not amazing either. If I had just a random creature, I would play it. Maybe we'd play... we cut Oust for Relic. But we do want to have an answer to their constructs. I think I still like this exchange. Yeah, I'll do it like this. On the play, I might just play a 17th land. Okay, I'll keep this. Lots of graveyard hate, which isn't necessary for this matchup necessarily, but it's not necessarily necessary. But still, good cards. We can just carve out. We have our colors. Let's play the Relic. We have an interesting choice between Voidwalker and Thalia on turn 2. Probably Thalia, though. They have just so many non-creature spells. This is the perfect matchup for this card, where it's almost fully a one-sided effect. Okay. They just get basic planes. And then likely they pass with remand up. If I drew a... Oh, okay. If they pass with mana up, I almost want to not do anything here. That can't be right, though. These Saga tokens could be a problem. I'm just going to play Thalia. If they have remand, they have it. I do want to be taxing it. Oh, it resolves. Okay. Well, definitely happy we didn't do nothing then. They just start making constructs. That's pretty slow. There's the planes. Thieving Skydiver to steal my Relic. Huh. Kind of annoying. Okay, let's swing for 2. And then just play Voidwalker. And then I might even just cast Voidwalker in to grab their Saga. I do have a bunch of uses for the mana here. With that being said, just a 3/2 shadow is pretty good, so it might be better to just keep this in play and start beating down. Hopefully we just draw land naturally, or maybe even our own Saga. Four mana for Council Judgment. They vote for Thalia. Okay. So now I can cast their Council Judgment if I want to, but I don't want to yet. The Relic is kind of annoying, actually. It shuts down the whole Lurrus angle of attack. Nurturing Peatland. Okay, I think I'm just going to play 2 creatures here. Actually, maybe that's not correct. We could try to save this to kick it. Okay, I'm gonna go for the Dreams of Steel and Oil. It's not gonna get better. It might even brick here, but it's just good to know what they have. Okay, they do have Sunfall. That's very good to know. I think I'm gonna take Vendilion Click. And then play Selfless Spirit. Yep, that's fine. Intrepid Adversary is kind of good against Remand. I mean, not amazing, but we don't have to sink the extra mana in until after it enters the battlefield, so we can play it, remand it, and not have spent the other 2 mana. Not the most relevant thing, but it's something. I think we are kind of just on the beatdown plan, like with Voidwalker, or like try to make them, I guess, use the Sunfall. I also want them to crack this relic soon because I want to have cards that we can search up, or like bring back Lurrus. Could go for the Saga. That just doesn't seem good against their Sunfall though. I'm just going to go to combat and swing with both, honestly. Although, do I even want to offer this trade? Maybe not. Yeah, let's just swing with the Voidwalker. And then just go land, grab Lurrus, and pass. Just not letting them use their remand effectively here. And then if they just go for Sunfall, which is possible. Okay, they crack the relic. I'm pretty happy to see that because now we'll be able to have stuff in the graveyard. Ooh. Okay. Mystical Tutor lets them find Ancestral Recall, and they have Snapcaster Mage. So that's actually quite bad. Now we are probably behind. I mean, we can just cast their Ancestral with our Voidwalker, but it might be... just drawing cards and then trying to like Lurrus Voidwalker seems like it's probably the right play. Oh, they can't Snapcaster, right. That's nice. We don't want to Voidwalker into their known remand for sure. Recruiter of the Guard, that's fine, doesn't really do much. I'm not going to crack these lands. I do think having a bunch of mana here is good. They get Skyclave Apparition. They don't have remand up though, so I think I might just fire off this Ancestral. Yeah, seems good. Oh, this does put it back in their graveyard. That's pretty bad. I think it's fine, though. So now we go land, Lurrus, Voidwalker, Concealing Curtains, Bauble. See what they got on top. Wrath of God. Okay, good thing we have Selfless Spirit. I definitely do not want to trade them. They do have Snap Verdict now. I guess they're just going to go for Sunfall. Yeah, they just go play Sunfall and they're setting up for Snap. Yeah, we shouldn't have played Concealing Curtains. That was a slight blunder. So this happens. They're at 11. We can dash Tenacious Underdog if we want to. I think I will do that, actually. Maybe not. I mean, what happens if we just play a huge Intrepid Adversary? Doesn't do that much. I think it actually is still the line, though. We'll get this down. Graveyard the Scrubland past turn. We're pretty behind though. I like our chances of winning game 3, but we are pretty behind now. We have this 5-3, which they have to deal with, but they can just play Skyclave Apparition to deal with it pretty effectively. And then they still have up Snap. They have up Remand or Snap Ancestral. Saga's not a bad one. I'm just going to Savine's Reclamation back, Selfless Spirit, and play Tenacious Underdog, Hardcast, instead of Dashing. Dashing doesn't work into their Incubator token. So they have multiple sweepers. Good to know. This could be a tough matchup, actually. With Sunfall and Wrath of God, we just need to play around all their sweepers. I do think that there's nothing here in our sideboard that is particularly good. If we find Retrofit or Foundry, that could be pretty good against them. They probably just go Snap Ancestral here. Oh, they don't. Interesting. They don't even incubate, so that means they're probably planning on sweeping the board. Honestly, I'm just going to block here. I'm pretty happy if they... I guess, yeah, we're insulated against the board sweeper because of the Selfless Spirit. They could go Snap, Sunfall after, but okay, they play the Snap. We'll see what they target. I think I want them to do Sunfall. Okay. So they incubate another dude that's a 2/2 this time. Snapcaster's gone. They're holding Remand and Wrath of God. We could definitely win this. We have Saga, keep in mind. Bowmaster's good draw. Whoops. Chromox was a atrocious draw. I think I'm going to take advantage of this window where they're tapped out to Savine's Reclamation back both of the creatures. Could even bring back Bauble instead. Actually, I think I like bringing back Bauble instead of bringing back Tenacious Underdog when they already have Wrath of God. And I'm going to cast this just do nothing. And I will crack this. There's an argument to holding it just to grow our constructs, but I think it's better to do it this way. Interesting game. They do have these 2 incubator tokens, which is the real problem. We don't have that many good ways to deal with them. In particular, the 5/5. Urza. Okay. That is pretty good. They have a bunch of huge creatures. Still don't think I want to be playing Alf in this matchup, but could be good. Alright, so we'll get the Foundry, play land, attack with actually we can attack with both. If they block with this, we'll just make a dude and accept that being a trade. Could try to even grow outsize these to be bigger than their things, but I think I'm pretty happy to trade constructs here. This is really bad if they have an instant speed removal spell, but I think that's pretty unlikely. I also really just like taking out the incubator tokens because those are the things that are scariest. Like they can sweep the board and then attack us with those, and I don't want to allow that to happen. I'll play the Stalker. Could have also set up to try to like untap Retrofit or Foundry, then use it to make a servo, but I think just getting the Stalker down is fine. If they want to remand the Stalker, I will just replay it. That would just be them cycling remand, which is totally fine. Could also... Subtlety. Yikes. I don't like that one bit. Okay, that's going to go on the bottom. Definitely. And then I'm just going to main phase play this Bowmasters. Don't love doing that, but I don't think I want to let them remand it. Oh wait, is remand gone? Is Wrath of God gone? Why do I think they have both of these? I have no idea. Oh, we might have seen one off of Bauble and then they topped it away. That must be it. Or like Lorien revealed. So I actually don't know which one of these they have. That's kind of unfortunate. They spin this. Hitting island. That's fine. They can spin ours again if they want to, but they're just going for top. Man, it actually is super relevant that we don't know which one of these they have. They tap this, they're looking a little bit weak on the counter, on the attack. Hit no more lives, which doesn't do anything. Wild game. Okay, that's of course a bad draw. Let's crack this. Dogged Detective is an okay draw. What happens if we just blitz Tenacious Underdog, attack with everything? They block 2 things, they take 4. We are going to be pretty low on the backswing, but yeah, I think that is the play. Block. Yeah, let's just attack with everything. They say GG. They're not dead on board, necessarily. But they do have to chump block the construct, which is pretty bad. Playing against a low-key fan. Alright, 2-0. This deck is kind of cruising. Overcoming a blue-white control deck is a good feeling, because that's the sort of that matchup that can be tough. They just outgrind you, but Lurrus really helped. It gave us like a 2-for-1 or like a 2-for-0, I guess, every game, at least. Okay, I will keep this. I don't love that we don't have black mana, but we do have a couple playable cards and also a removal spell, and if we find a black source, we can play these. Stalker has been pretty bad. It's possible it shouldn't even be in the deck, but Ragavan. Could oust this, could try to block it. Okay, I think I'm going to just play 2 dudes now. Pitching Dreams of Steel and Oil. I think I like getting this down over Cathar Commando, although it's kind of close. Just got a text from a fan. That's kind of fun. Oh, I just realized our opponent's name, the Stoned Pitbull, a worthy adversary for the trophy match. With a cool emblem as well. So I would be worried that we're just out of gas if we didn't have the Lurrus. Like, we're not even that far ahead on board. We 2-for-1'd ourselves a bit with this Chrome Mox, but because of the power of Lurrus, we still have plenty of gas. We can Stalactite Stalker to try to kill the Ragavan at instant speed. I mean, I hope they just attack and we can just trade off without having to use mana. Stalker plus Lurrus is kind of sweet, though. You can just, like, use this as a recurring removal spell. If we just played the Stalker and passed, they might use a removal spell on the Stalker, and then we could flash in Cathar Commando and trade off. Interesting. Okay, that's not too bad. So I'll sack Selfless Spirit. That's basically a 2-for-1 in our favor. Oh, and then they burn spell this. Okay, sure. So they do get to hit us with Ragavan once. It's not the end of the world. Hopefully they don't hit something they can cast, I guess. And then if we draw land, we can go Oust plus Lurrus. If we don't draw land, I guess we'll just pass with mana up. They hit Bobble. That's pretty annoying. Although not the worst, because I do like that we have the Bobble in our graveyard now, even though Urza Saga's out of targets. But yeah, just a solid little. I guess like this was a 2-for-1, that was a 2-for-1. They just got a 1-for-0, so they're up 1 card now. But we have Lurrus. So big turn here. We'll see what they can do. We don't have any more removal, or at least not like good removal. We can play Lurrus into Stalactite Stalker. Grim Lavamancer is annoying because that can kill our Lurrus. I think we might still need to go for it though. I mean, doing nothing seems too conservative. So I'll go Shadowy Backstreet, Surveil. I don't think that's really what we need. Actually, maybe it's not bad. You know what? I think that is actually good. So I'll leave that on top. And then play Lurrus into Stalactite Stalker. Yeah, and we could also even just hold the Lurrus. And try to wait until we can get Selfless Spirit into play at the same time. But that's too conservative. If we just pass, then we let them... And we try to Cathar Commando block Ragavan. They kill the Cathar Commando, hit us with Lurrus. Or with Ragavan. Okay, well that's worst case scenario. They kill both of our dudes. And then dash Ragavan and hit our... Yeah, okay, we're actually in a really bad spot now. Them having a 1-mana removal spell was tough. I think this should be a good matchup, but we will lose game 1. I actually am going to bring in Relic. I mean, they have a surprising amount of graveyard stuff for their style of deck. Ragavan putting in a lot of work here. It's already drawn them 2 cards from our deck and given them 2 mana. Silent Clearing is a brick. Glimmer Lens. Not the worst, actually. We're behind, but it's not over. We just need to find Savine's Reclamation to bring back Lurrus. This is where I also wish we were playing Unearth, but just, yeah, Savine's Reclamation, and we're actively ahead. What other good stuff could we draw? I mean, the problem with playing a Lurrus deck is you don't really have good top decks. Your cards are typically not individually powerful. It'll be interesting to see if they choose to attack with Revealing Eye here. If they do, we could... I'm not going to double block, but we could attack back and draw a card, which seems pretty good. I think I'm happy to see this. They're still ahead, but I'm happy to see them attacking here. They have a lot of ways to kill our stuff. I guess that's the hard part about this matchup. Okay, interesting draw. Let's attack. And we'll see how they choose to block. Drawing another land is bad, of course. Jite would be another card that could maybe get us there. If they dash Ragavan, do we kill the Ragavan? Probably... Okay. I think I will kill this here. Taking 6 seems a little too tough. So Ward 2, which we can pay for, and then we get to look at 2 cards. Just digging for Savine's Reclamation. It's kind of that or bust. We do get a lot of looks. Not interested in either of these at all. So we take 3. Then they can either use Lavamancer or... I mean, yeah, they'll probably use Lavamancer to kill one of our guys. Cathar Commando down. Oh, they killed the token. It's fine. Reclamation. Ooh, okay. That's a plan. Perks of Pylon, digging through the deck. So we can kill the Lavamancer and maybe just win the race. I guess we should equip Glimmerlens here too, doesn't matter too much. Unless we want to leave up the ability to activate it, but I don't think we care about that, so let's just go equip this. And yeah, we win the race. They can hit us for 3, but we don't care. Don't need to kill the Lavamancer immediately. If we are I mean, I definitely don't want to let them activate it again, but I don't think that will be too hard to avoid. Okay, yeah, I mean, the GT just kills 2 things. That's like a 2 for 0. Their last card is Inti. Okay. So they're going to presumably put the counter on the Revealing Eye. Hopefully they go for Ragavan and we can just kill it, but that would be crazy. Oh, what? Okay, kill Ragavan. And we should kill this Lavamancer too while they don't have mana up. Yeah, pretty big misplay there. They could have had a 4-5 with Menace and put us to 6, but now we get an extra point of life, and this thing is going to be 1 point smaller for the rest of the game. Then we get to untap and swing with this, and they can block with Inti if they want to, but then we still get 2 more GT counters. Seems pretty good. I guess the other option would be to not kill the Lavamancer now. Oh, mutagenic growth. Interesting. Not a card I would have expected to see, but now we're dead because they can use the Lavamancer. Interesting. So maybe they did actually play correctly to put the counter on the Ragavan. So we need Sivian's Reclamation or bust now. We draw basic plane. So dead on board. Yeah, dead on board. Alright, so down the game in the finals. Still very live for the trophy, though. I do think we should have a good matchup against red decks in general. They have a decent amount of graveyard stuff, so I do kind of want to play the Relic. Definitely want the GT. I'm going to cut Shadowy, or I'm going to cut Nurturing Peatland for a Swamp. Nothing here looks too bad. I might cut the Voidwalker. Yeah, Voidwalker is just pretty soft to their burn spells, and it doesn't do that much. Like, we're never going to be casting something huge from them. Also, slightly hard to cast. I don't think we need to bring in Enlightened Tutor. Like, finding GT is good, but it's not so good. Like, then there's 5 mana and 2 cards, and they can blow us out with a removal spell. Yeah, let's run it like this. On the play. Okay, good hand. So, Shadowy Backstreet. I'll leave that on top. Hopefully they don't have a turn 1 Ragavan. Dragon's Rage Chandler. Okay, that's a lot less scary. Do we want to set up for just Sagaing immediately? I think I'm actually going to hold off for a little bit. I'm going to Thalia first and not Saga yet. But we'll definitely want to get that going pretty soon. Inti, okay. Dogged Detective, interesting. Cathar Commando, it's more mana efficient to go for Glimmerlens. I think I will just play the Glimmerlens. If you attack with Inti and discard a card, I'm fine just... Oh, maybe we should have attacked for 2 there, actually. Yeah, I think that was probably the correct play. I play land before doing anything else. So that does make the Inti attack a little bit less good. I don't want to double block the Inti for sure. If they attack with... Well, they won't just attack with Channeler, so... Yeah, probably just going to be taking 3, but then attacking back and drawing a card off Glimmerlands and putting 2 dudes into play. Goblin Bombardment. Interesting. It's not too bad for us. I mean, we do have a lot of 1 toughness creatures, but that's just like a 1-for-1 trade. So they're going to discard a card just to get a counter. Feels like that's got to be good for me. I hope they don't hit like a Mox or something here. Lelia. Whew, I'm glad they're not drawing that. So we take this, that's fine. Then go Saga into Dogged Detective. Both interesting draws. I think I'm going to graveyard the Mother of Runes and top Prismatic Ending. And then I'm going to pass, leaving up the ability to go for some blocks here. Yeah, I think I'm fine just being the control deck in this game, not really going for a race. We should be able to win the long game if we can stabilize the board. If they attack with Inti and discard again, I will go for the double block. Okay. We have a good answer. Oh, it gets double strike too. That's, I guess, pretty sketchy. They discard Headliner Scarlet. Interesting. I'm just going to take 10. It's a little bit sketchy. But I think it's fine. Then we go end of turn, Commando. Ooh, good draw. Then let's go. I think I'm actually just going to accept not making a construct this turn. And go Cathar Commando, kill this. And then Prismatic Ending this. And pass with Bowmasters up. And now we're pretty stabilized. We have Lurrus ready to go soon. We have Saga that can get us Bauble, so that Lurrus is making value immediately. Our life total is low, but not so low that I'm really worried about getting burned out. I mean, it could happen. Phyrexian Revoker doesn't... I mean, that's great for us when we have Bowmasters. This can't shut down Saga. They can shut down Glimmerlands, I guess. Not too worried about that. But yeah, feeling pretty good. For the... Being on the draw, game 3 will be tougher. I wish we could play Ophiomancer or even Gurmag Angler, but we can't. I do think Lurrus is worth it a lot here. If it wasn't for the Lurrus, we would be slightly ahead. And with the Lurrus, I think we're going to win unless they have a lot of burn. That was the first time I've really seen this card do much. It was pretty good, though. It added 6 damage to the Inti right off the bat. Alright, we'll go for Bowmasters, which is just so good against their deck. They don't have that much card draw, but just killing something and making 2 dudes and going wide is great, and they agree because they concede. So, as it should be, we're on to Game 3 of the finals. Mutagenic Growth is actually kind of interesting. I don't like having to pay life, but 0 mana to save one of our things from a burn spell is actually pretty great. I think I'm going to cut the Relic. It does something, but not that much. Yeah, I think that's correct. And I'm going to play this, the Silent Clearing. I don't love it. I hope I don't draw it early. But our fixing isn't really good enough to cut a dual land for a basic. Okay, we do have the Silent Clearing. Unfortunate. Good hand, though. If they go for Ragavan, we have to decide if we want to play the Inspector or just Prismatic Ending the Ragavan immediately. Okay, it's kind of weird. Let's go land, Inspector. And then I'll bobble, really hoping to find a land that's not... that doesn't hurt us. Or is it Saga? That doesn't hurt us. Palantir of Orthanc. That's pretty bad. Prismatic Ending can't deal with it. Actually, we can, funnily enough, we can get Chrome. Yeah, that's actually our plan. That seems fine. We can get Chrome Mox and then have 3 colors to deal with this before it gets too out of hand. Chrome Mox pitching Mutagenic Growth. Let's just get the Intrepid Adversary down this turn. I like being ahead on board. Hit for 1. Ha! What? They concede? I didn't even know if we were ahead there. Maybe we were slightly ahead. I guess they just had nothing in hand. Maybe like tons of lands. Wow. That's hilarious, but great, I guess. Yeah. Got the trophy, so that's pretty sweet. This was an awesome deck. Lurrus is a very good companion when you can support it without playing just bad cards. And we were able to do that. We had good card quality while still having a solid Lurrus shell. Nice little Saga package, good removal suite. Obviously, you're going to have a good curve with the Lurrus deck. Sevine's Reclamation, we didn't draw too much, but I think that is actually a great card in this style of deck where you can bring back Lurrus in the late game and just have a great value engine. But yeah, I mean, when these decks are at their best, they have a low curve, they pressure the opponent quickly, they have a lot of disruption, and they have a surprising amount of resiliency in the late game. And this was pretty much able to do that. The downside, of course, is that your top decks are rarely going to be great. You don't have any card that can just take over the game like a Minsk and Boo can. Or maybe Saga, actually. But yeah, the deck was just streamlined and powerful, and we got the trophy. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.